Okay, it's good evening. It's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting of the Deep Creek Watershed Board of Zoning Appeals to order. We are your Deep Creek Lake Watershed Board of Zoning Appeals. We are appointed by the Garrett County Commissioners. We serve at their pleasure. The purpose of the board is to provide competent and equitable interpretation of the Deep Creek Watershed Zoning Ordinance. Your board here tonight, I'm Bruce Swift, Chairman. To my left, Steve Nagy, Bob Hoffman, Mike Beard, and Bill Ingram, and Chad Fikes, our zoning administrator tonight. We have, gentlemen, we have, by now you have seen the minutes from last meeting. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve if there is no additions or corrections.
Make a motion to approve.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
So move, Chad. We'll move on to the hearing part of our procedure tonight. We have one case. It is variance request 829. Chad, you want to read that?
Yeah. So this is an application by Joseph Knupp. This is for a variance to allow the construction of a new addition on an existing home to within 24 foot of the rear and within 11 foot of the side. Typical setbacks are 40 foot in the rear and 15 on the side. Property is located at 792 State Park Road, Swanton, tax map 58, parcel 489, grid 12, and is zone Lake Residential 1.
Who's presenting for the case tonight? John? You come up and swear you in? Is this microphone here, Chad?
Yeah, I think that one works. I'm gonna tap it once.
Hello. Hello.
I think.
Close enough?
Yeah.
You swear and affirm to tell the truth in testimony that you give tonight in front of the Deep Creek Watershed Board of Zoning Appeals?
I do.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Jonathan Bell, 1000 South Blakesley Road, Oakland, Maryland, 21550.
Okay, John, tell us about it.
So I'm here representing Joe Knupp. Joe's my client through Railing Vacations. The home is currently in our vacation rental pool. He wants to do an addition to it, which we've met with architects, and Michael Wolf is an engineer for the surveying. Have everything mapped out. We are requesting a variance, which I believe you guys have a copy of the packet. If not, I can read to you.
We do.
A couple extra packs of it. Requesting a variance, and Joe works for the government. He's currently overseas, so that's why I'm here.
So you're actually asking for two variances, it looks like, side yard and rear yard?
Correct.
Okay.
So the variances, let me look at my notes and make sure I'm right. Per section 157.04B, a single family detached dwelling, the required rear yard setback is 40 feet and the required yard setback, side setback is 15 feet. We are requesting a variance to change the rear yard setback to 24 feet and the side yard to 11 feet. If you have any questions, let me know. There's drawings in there of the proposed house. In my opinion, it's not that big of a zoning request to change that many feet, but I'm not sure how you guys look at it.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of our criteria is we're supposed to look at these things individually and hand them out sparingly, and it really should be a last resort. A variance should really be a last resort, you know what I mean? If there's any other options, it's kind of hard to grant them, let alone two on the same property. So we're, I think, I don't want to speak for the other members, I'm struggling a little bit with that. I think maybe, and Chad, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think they might be this covered porch in the back, I think would grandfather you in on the rear if you could do if your addition wouldn't encroach any further than that. You wouldn't even need that variance, I don't think.
Okay.
But as written, as drawn, I believe it encroaches a little bit on it.
Yeah, after looking at that, is a covered porch that's attached to the house. So typically anything that's incorporated in that main roof is part of the house, as long as that it looked like it had been there for some time. So we would typically grandfather that distance. Now it looks like the proposed addition is still closer than that,
Okay.
But whatever that existing porch would be, we would grandfather that setback in the rear.
I don't know exact dates, but I've sold him in the house and it's been there for a long time.
Yeah, so we would grandfather that. You wouldn't be able to go closer without a variance, but if the
Okay.
surveyor could say what that was, let's say it was 27 feet, 26, that would become the grandfathered rear setback.
Okay, the hardship that we're looking at here is just the irregular shape of the lot. If you guys look at it, it's kind of funky. And then the one thing, gosh, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this name right now, but I sold the properties next door. And if you notice, the lakefront lot to the right has a home on it. Then the lot directly to the right has the building site behind, so the side setback on that side shouldn't be an issue to the neighbor, I don't believe. I've heard the neighbor being upset about it.
If I understand you correctly, this is a rental unit.
Yes, correct.
It is now a 3-bedroom rental unit, the way it stands,
Correct, yeah,
and you want to add 3 more.
correct.
For the record, John, we received a couple letters, one from, I think, DNR with no problem with it, and from DPU saying that you would have to upgrade the grinder pump. And then we did get one letter of opposition from a neighbor.
Okay.
So, okay. The rest of the board have any questions for Mr. Bell?
John, do you know what the existing square footage of the home is now?
I don't, but hopefully it's on here.
As you're looking, and it kind of falls in line with my next question, the additional square footage that you're looking to add. So you're at 3 bedrooms and adding 3.
I'm afraid I don't know that answer. The drawing in the package shows the existing footprint and the proposed new footprint. There's square foot on top.
Yeah, I wasn't able to ascertain that either.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Bell?
John, do you know what the intended use of this house is going forward if the variances, plural, are granted?
To keep it a vacation rental pool.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? John, any idea what would, if there was a reason you couldn't pull that addition into the house to line up with the side of the house? We were out there today and looked at it. We're trying to figure out why I see you've made the step in it to try to keep it no more than, no closer than 12 feet from the line, which I see that. It looked like to us maybe you had some other options there without.
Which, where are you talking about?
See your 12 foot on the right side, on the Smith, on the Faulkner side. You're asking for 12 feet there.
Okay,
For
gotcha.
relief from the 15. I
Okay.
mean, see how the addition hangs out past the house there?
I do.
Do you know of any reason? We didn't see a well or any reason why that house, why it couldn't have, been over in line with the house or,
Fall within that 15-foot setback.
You know what I mean.
And you wouldn't be here asking us for anything.
yeah.
Right,
Do you know if there's any reason why that couldn't be?
I don't, other than my guess is the architect wouldn't have done it unless he had to. I need to ask them.
Some kind of design issue?
Yeah, we
Mhm.
had the architect design it, and they gave me notes to go over today. That
Mhm.
wasn't brought up in the notes.
Okay.
The reason we're there,
I can
we're
get
talking
you-
about this is a large structure in height. Your basement and 3 full floors above it.
That's correct.
If you would kick it back into the 15-foot setback on the side, line up with the existing house or close to it on there, you're not going to be losing that much square footage.
No problem. It makes sense not running by the architect.
Then we wouldn't be involved probably at all on this.
So basically, try to work with the architect and crank that side in probably 15-foot setback.
Correct.
And then work with what you guys were saying about the covered porch.
And then the porch, like I said, would grandfather you in parallel to the property line, not the porch line.
Okay.
It'd be parallel to the property line.
I don't think they do, and I'll check on them. I don't think they know about the grandfather on the porch. So
It
Yeah.
doesn't look like, appear that they
Because
did.
that would, another foot or foot and a half off the house, and
Sure.
you're gonna be going for 1 request instead of 2.
Okay, no, that makes total sense.
I can tell you too, just a suggestion for moving forward, no matter what happens tonight. On these variances, it really helps our board, and it's not a requirement by any means, but I'm just telling you, it really helps our board if they have the surveyor stake the corners out so we can see it. I mean, we have this drawing, we can see it,
Okay.
you know what I mean? But you go up there and it's, again, it's not a requirement, but
We'll
just,
do that next time. I didn't know you guys actually went to a lot, but yeah.
yeah, we go to every one.
We go to
Yep,
every
we
one
go
of
to
them.
every one, so, yep. Got anything else you want to say?
No, that makes sense. I'll get back to them, and get back to you on the questions. I'll bring it up with the architects and the engineers, take those corners, and I'll get back to you guys.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to speak in favor of the application?
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Anybody want to speak in opposition? Okay, we swear you in. Do you- Mike Smith, you swear and affirm to tell the truth in this testimony that you're about to give in front of the Deep Creek Watershed Board of Zoning Appeals?
I do.
Your address, you already stated your name.
My address is 774 State Park Road.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm the neighbor on the other side.
Kind of two sides, right?
Yeah, two sides.
Yeah.
So, yeah, back as well, which is where it's gonna encroach on our property. But I'm most concerned, I think, from the standpoint of the 1.3 acre lot. And we're shoving more real estate on a very small lot now. It's gonna have 6 bedrooms. And I know you're only supposed to have 1 car per bedroom. But the reality is, I mean, we see numerous houses on State Park Road, not just State Park Road, but State Park Road being the zoning that it is, right, which is Lake Residential 1. We see these rental houses with 10 to 12 cars parked at them. This is a really small lot, and it's gonna be very hard for them to get people into that. And then just the fact that, you know, as I say in my letter here, you know, the nature of the rental industry here has changed. We've been here 20 years, and we quit renting our house when it started going to Airbnb. And this one's on Expedia, I think, and it's listed with John. And that's a concern because we are pretty close to that house. And when you get these big houses like this, it's just a lot of noise. And we really enjoy where we're at, across from the state park. And the lady that had this before rented it, but not aggressively, right? Not the 24/7 that we're seeing now with the Airbnbs and the Expedias and things like that. And it's just the density, increasing the density here is what I'm concerned about.
Right.
It's setting a precedent, right? Because it's a very small lot that you're allowing to get a lot more house on it than would normally be allowed. I get it that it's grandfathered in many respects, but adding this much square footage, I think just goes beyond that. One thing too, it's in my deed, and John, you mentioned a grinder pump. We've always been under the impression, I know we've talked to both the prior owners, the water comes down the hill from a spring that Mr. Oliver and I own a lot on.
Mhm.
And they must have put a well in, but if that's not the case, then they don't, I'm not sure how that works with.
We don't think there's a well on the property.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
nobody ever told me that they put a well in. They don't have to tell me.
Mhm.
We would have cut it off a long time ago
Mm-hmm.
if that was the case.
Yeah, that's for a different entity to look into, and that would be looked at at permitting, I believe, but we,
I'm very confident there's a well in there, but don't go into it until I look.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it.
We do. We saw it.
And we-
Yeah, but the only reason I'm questioning it is I'm not seeing it on the
Yeah,
survey.
because I lived right there. I've walked around that house.
okay, we just need to kind of keep testimony here for right now.
Okay, yeah, so getting back to then, where I quote in my, the zoning board of appeals about the true hardship exists. I mean, the hardship existed before they bought it, right? And so I think, they should have gone and gotten the variance before they put the money down. Now the hardship is compounded by the fact that they want to increase the return on their investment, as opposed to making that contingent on approval before they bought the property.
Mhm.
And so it compounded the hardship that exists because it's a small, non-conforming lot. And, I can't help that. That's, but that shouldn't be the reason that we approve this, is so that they can make more money on their investment. it's all there, so if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
And we did receive your letter and we read it, so we appreciate that. So, anybody else want to speak in opposition? John, we'll give you an opportunity for any kind of rebuttal, any kind of closing statement you want to make, or?
Yeah, sure, we'll work on the drawings, I understand your concerns, they do make sense. One thing I thought about when we send the new drawings back to you, you guys are gonna require it anyway, why don't I draw one there where the parking would be, or have the engineer show it, because we will need to have parking and make sure there's ample parking for TDRU anyway. So when we come back to you guys, we'll work on the setbacks that you suggested, see what the architects see we can fit in there like was suggested tonight. Actually draw in parking, we'll locate the well and make sure that's there and all that stuff and come back to you guys. Another thing just to bring up too, I'm very biased on this, but where you're saying it's, you saw it on Expedia and stuff, that is us. We advertise our houses. Really Vacation, we advertise on Expedia. So there is, every renter there does have a professional property manager. Not that that solves all problems, but it is, we're here to help. Understand your concerns. We'll reach out to Joe, the homeowner, and architects and surveyors. And get back to you guys.
Okay, well, we haven't rendered our decision yet,
Oh,
but,
okay.
but I appreciate that. Okay, guys, anybody have any other questions for any of our? All right,
Good.
this time I will close the testimony part of our proceeding and we will go into deliberation. You're welcome to stay and see how it turns out. Guys, I think that, to me, the definition of it fits the definition of hardship from being a substandard size lot and an irregular shaped lot. That being said, I think that they have options, other options here to achieve what they're trying to achieve and not even come for a variance. So
I agree. I'm not for either of them, to be honest with you. The thing can be redesigned to fit in without coming to us.
I mean, we are tasked to administer these variances sparingly, and when there's really no other recourse for the user, I think. I don't know if they got some bad information or they just realized that this covered porch would help them. They can adjust it just by maybe less than a foot and won't even need that rear one. They won't even need to come for a board.
And to Steve's point, the square footage reduction on that footprint is going to be negligible.
He could even shift, even the porch parallel the property line. It's gonna knock a couple of feet off the back. But he could take and actually bring it over, L-shape it into the existing house to give us the 15 foot on the side.
And
There's options here that they can make it work.
lots of options, and to Mr. Chairman, to your point of the irregularly shaped lot, I don't see where this addition is taking into the irregularity of the shape of the lot at all. I think that is just trying to maximize the square footage.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is if it was a square lot, he might not have as much problem there. But again, I still don't think that overrides the fact that the driving factor to me is they have other options, and we're not here to hand out variances just for the sake of handing them out.
Well, just the fact alone that they could, without requesting a variance, could have the distance, because the covered patio on the back is grandfathered, they could have that distance without sitting here in front.
Yeah, information they may or may not have had. It's
And Chad, it would be on record for when that covered porch was put in and the grandfather date on that.
Well, maybe not. Building permits didn't start till '97.
If it were prior to the ordinance, then you wouldn't.
Yeah, if it was prior to
And
75.
it would be automatically grandfathered anyway.
So the farther you go back, the spottier the records are.
Yep.
But it appeared rather old when we were there.
Yep, I agree.
It didn't look like it was something that was built last week.
No.
Those are the things that we're concerned about, something that's built without a permit recently that is trying to take advantage. That appeared to be.
That addition.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, but unless you catch them in the act, or, I mean, you gotta assume that it's grandfathered in if it's there, I mean, even unless you saw a brand new structure. Or,
Yeah, we can use,
you know,
we use aerial photos
Uh-huh.
sometimes and things
Okay.
like that. You know, we try to do some investigation, but unless there's proof, it's very hard. As you get farther and farther.
on an aerial.
No, so we do what we can. If it seems to be existing, we kind of have to go.
Need a magnifying glass.
And I mean, just to clarify for us on the record, I mean, I, as a board member, I don't feel that I need to see the parking plan. That's, you know, TVRU's department, you know.
That would be something that for a zoning permit, we would say if you're adding
I don't feel
bedrooms.
we need
where's
that
the
for our
parking?
decision. I just, maybe I spoke out of turn, but I just think it helps us to see, we discussed it today on the site, that it helps us to see it staked down. It's not a requirement, but I just thought it's, if I was
For
presenting
the
variance,
TRBU, it's a requirement, but not.
the
for
parking,
these
the parking
proceedings.
plan and all that is, yeah, so.
Are they good on the height?
That we believe they are, they set exhibits
Yeah,
that.
Numbers he had was good.
They set exhibits that
The numbers on
demonstrated
the
they
plan
were.
are good, how about that?
So, may I ask you a question?
Not yet, please. So, I mean, you got any more discussion on the matter? Anybody want to make a motion? What's the board feel like?
Good to move along, and if no one else has anything, I'll make a motion to deny.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
All right,
Application denied.
but you can redecide.
I do have one other bit of old business to share.
Okay.
This was Persian Farm, I believe they did you granted a variance for a trash.
Oh, that was,
And
Pinnacle.
It was originally intended to be like a chain link fence.
Mhm.
They've submitted this just showing wood. Bruce just wanted me to ask you if you guys had any issue with that. It wasn't exactly what was brought up in the meeting.
Persian Farm or up on the?
Pinnacle.
Pinnacle, sorry,
Pinnacle.
Yeah,
Pinnacle. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's in our, you know, we approved it based on a chain link fence.
Yeah.
Can they just change it without letting the public know? And
That wasn't part of testimony, or what is that?
Looks like a giant dumpster.
That wasn't.
Yeah, it was supposed to be tied in with.
The basketball.
Yeah.
tennis
similar,
court.
similar material,
Yeah.
right, I think? Or
Yeah, it was
did we talk about some kind of screening in the fence?
I
or-
wasn't there.
You weren't there. so.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the issue if it was something that was kind of crucial or what they presented or whether it wasn't.
Dumpsters are inside there, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, I think it comes around there.
Yeah, that's right. That accesses around the other
Yeah,
side.
as you make that right-hand turn, it would be the.
I mean, it's not offensive to me, but that's not what we approved.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's far removed from what we were.
I'd have to read our decision from that night, but I'm gonna say I would be opposed to that without
We
further
made a
review.
big deal
change
talking
from
about
what
the
you
height
approved.
and everything
Yeah.
of it,
Yeah,
because there was a neighbor down the street was opposed to it.
right.
I thought we put conditions on that one.
I mean, I don't know that that's not better than looking through the chain link and seeing the dumpsters, but that's not what we approved. I don't think we can, I mean,
No, I think, well, what would they do in a case like this? Would they send a justification to you that would then come to us? You know, or,
Let's
almost
say
be
what
a
happened
different-
many years ago. We had a gentleman, and it was a garage. Anyone put the garage up next to the road, short version, instead of down where we told him he could put it, he put it next to the road. Somebody turned him in, they went down and saw it, and they gave him like 30 days to tear it down. He took it down and moved it down to where it was supposed to be. That was over on Harvey's Peninsula, that job.
remind the board that we're still live, I believe. But, yeah, I,
But that's not what. we
without
approved.
without having our opinion in order in front of us, I can't.
Okay, I think
can't
Bruce
approve
just
that.
wanted an opinion. He was
Okay.
kind of thinking the same.
Okay.
I think it's fair to say, Mr. Chairman, that's not an automatic, it's okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Any new business, board members, anybody? Chad? No. Looks like our next meeting will be June 16th, 2022 at 7 PM. If we have no more business, I'll ask for a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.